An Emeritus Professor of Political Science, University of Ibadan, John Ayoade, says Nigeria's National Assembly should abandon its ongoing attempt to amend the country's constitution, simply because it lacks the capacity to do a good job of it. According to him, the 1999 Nigerian constitution, as amended, is riddled with a lot of deficiencies, coupled with the fact that asking the federal lawmakers to do the job is like asking the accused person to sit over his own case. They simply won't go against their own interest. Well, the Emeritus Professor joins us now to discuss his position. Welcome, sir. Can you throw more light?
Thank you.
Welcome, yes. Please help us shed more light on your reasons for holding this position.
I think it's very important to understand that in the first place, you do not write a constitution in the marketplace. The noise will be too much, and it appears that there will be problems of coordination. That's the first thing. The National Assembly is too big, too amorphous to be able to write a good constitution. The second thing is that the National Assembly is going to be a beneficiary of the Constitution. And therefore, it is not likely that they will be able to do a good job of it. From all that we have seen, people personalize issues rather than divorce themselves from those issues. And for that reason, I think the National Assembly is least qualified to write an original constitution for Nigeria. Furthermore, I would think that anybody who is going to benefit directly from the constitution should not, in fact, be the one to write it. Otherwise, they will write for their own good alone. These are the few reasons I have for saying that the National Assembly should hands off from amending the Constitution.
All right, Prof. Well, I don't know about you. I don't know about your analogy of the accused being the judge in his own case, because one would wonder, what is the National Assembly accused of? You know, but you said you don't want the National Assembly to take up that task. So who would you want to do that? What are you, in effect, proposing?
Basically, what I'm proposing is that first, the Constitution should be written by fewer people who have the knowledge of Nigeria and who also know Nigeria enough to be able to ascertain what Nigeria needs and what Nigeria wants. And in order to do that, we don't need an assembly of 400 people to do that. What I'm proposing in actual fact is that we need a panel of experts who are knowledgeable about constitutions generally and who are also knowledgeable about Nigeria and where we want Nigeria to be, not just now, but also in the future.
Okay, Professor, some would say that you shouldn't blame the tool, you should blame the workman, because you're addressing the Constitution. What are the serious flaws in the 1999 Constitution that will be remedied by yet another Constitution?
Basically, what we call the Federal Republic of Nigeria is neither federal nor a republic. That's basic. So if we want to, want to write a constitution, now it's not a federal constitution. It's a unifederal constitution. And it should be a republic. It should be a Republican constitution. What do you mean by Republican? Actually, from origin, a republic is a democratic state. Nigeria is not a democratic state for now. And that constitution cannot guarantee a democracy for Nigeria. That's why I think that those two flaws are very important, must be addressed. And thirdly, the Nigerian constitution has no foundational philosophy. It does not really tell us where we are going or where we want to be. at any point in time. It's a constitution that is written just for the sake of governance. A constitution should define the goals. A constitution should define and agree with the aspirations of the people. So it's not just it's not a piece of composition. It's not a piece of novel that we just write, and it has to have a goal. It has to have a philosophy, and the absence of a foundational philosophy flaws the Constitution in a fatal manner.
Prof. Emeritus, when you say this is not a democracy, I am really wondering, are you trying to redefine democracy? What then is democracy? But let me ask you this. When you say start from the scratch, what exactly do you mean? I want to wager a guess. If you mean throw the present one in the dustbin, isn't that so radical? And can we really afford that? And won't that leave a vacuum?
It doesn't leave any vacuum.
Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof.
Because the country belongs to the people. For the people must be involved in such a way that their interests are guaranteed. What we're trying to do now, what we are operating now, is guaranteeing the interest of the political class, not the interest of the people. So that's one way of looking at it. The second way of looking at it is that a federation is also a kind of democracy of the communities. So the communities, which we call states, must be able to decide their own future, must be able to govern themselves, and must be able to decide which way they want to go. As at now, the states are not free. So there must also be freedom for the states. And it is only, so it's not just, we don't define democracy just in terms of the individuals. We define democracy both in terms of the individuals and in terms of the communities that constitute the federation.
Okay, that's interesting. Some would say that even under the current working of things, the state governors may not necessarily be demonstrating this ability to be representative of the people that we would hope to see even under this reformed system you're advocating for. So what I'm asking is, would there be, in tandem with this, your advocacy for a reformed constitution, would there be a sort of reorientation of systems of governance? Because the two seem to go hand in hand. Without that orientation, even a reformed constitution will be abused subsequently. Professor? Okay, I'll take that question again. I'm assuming that you, as much as you're advocating for a reformation of our constitution, you're also taking into cognizance the fact that the people themselves will need reorientating. Otherwise, there's no guarantee that they won't go ahead and abuse any new form of constitution that's tabled before them. Okay, we seem to have lost the professor.
We seem to have lost connection with the professor. All right. And that will be it on that. Well, we'll continue with the rest of the stories on Newsday. President Muhammadu Buhari is ordering the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, to deploy all refurbished tractors to farmers to boost agricultural activities in the country. The Vice Chairman of NASENI, Mohammed Haruna, told State House correspondents that the President gave the order when he updated him on the activities of the agency at the presidential villa. Haruna said the presidential directive was in line with Buhari's administration's efforts to revamp the agricultural sector. President Buhari had on Tuesday assured Nigerians that his administration would keep a keen eye on food inflation in the new year by ensuring food security through mass agricultural activities across the country. He said the president was eager to see that the tractors were deployed to farmers before the next farming season.
It's critical.
You'll agree with me that there are many tractors that litter the country all over places that are broken down. Usually, the average lifespan of a tractor in Nigeria is not more than 30 months. After the farming season is abandoned, some require major repairs, some require few repairs. The next time you need tractors, people will go and be buying new ones. So what we do is that we are trying to ensure that all serviceable tractors are repaired, are deployed back to farm. However, this time around, we introduce management into it in such a way that you don't need to buy a new tractor when you need it. You go to the full, take it on lease or on hiring or on contract. After you finish tilting your farm.
Okay, it looks like we have Professor Ayoade back with us. Welcome back. Before we lost you there, I was just asking the question, so I'll just ask that question again. I'm hoping that your advocacy for a reformed constitution also envisages reorientation of the people to implement it, because governance systems are quite another thing from the constitution. And if you don't deal with both, you'll probably have an abuse occurring again.
Yes, I agree with you that there's a need for the orientation of the operators of the Constitution. In fact, that had been one of the reasons for the establishment of what eventually metamorphosed wrongly into MAMSA. The purpose at the beginning was to conscientize and sensitize the people to what a constitution is, and also to sensitize people to the responsibilities of the citizens. Unfortunately, as time went on, the civil service took over and turned it into a MAMSA. Really, the purpose at the beginning was also to get the government, as well as the civil service, to do things in the right way. But it was turned into a propaganda machine for the civil service and for government. So it failed in the purpose. So it is important that we must reorient the people. We must let the people know what the future holds for them and how they are going to achieve that future. So I would also say that a constitution gets implemented rightly or wrongly by the nature and the character of the people who implement the constitution. So a constitution may not be as bad as it is. It could depend on the inability of the people who operate it to operate it wrongly, to operate it rightly. So it is important to look at the constitution, and then after looking at the constitution, we also need to give appropriate training and education to the people who are going to operate it.
Professor Emeritus of Political Science, thank you so much for being on Newsday. One hopes that, one wonders how you're driving this. One hopes that you get to the end of the theater. You're watching Newsday. Plenty more still ahead. Stay with us.